last year, and I told him afterwards, and Monica was here, she said, I've never heard Chris Felton deliver a message that was more clear and precise. And I texted Chris and I said, Ed Milet has never done a better job speaking.
Whoa!
He does have tighter shirts, but he does not do a better job speaking. And it's great. So make sure you take a lot of notes and finish up strong. Let's give a big standing ovation, warm welcome, Chris Felton.
Yeah! Woo!
Got 35 minutes to bring this thing home. Has this not been an absolute world-class event?
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited. I'm going to get into my talk here. I was having a struggle with naming my talk. I like to have themes for my talk, and so I came up with this theme. Hopefully you guys don't think it's too long, but here it goes. It's time for us, me and we, to get our recruiting act together, because we know that all of us were recruited, and we are all thankful that someone did, and we know that all good things come to those who build a good team, but somehow we won't or don't do enough. We get distracted. We say we will, but we don't do as much as we'd like to. It's now time to change all that and get our collective recruiting act together in 2019. Talk! Yeah! I like them apples.
Delicious.
Well, I was reflecting on it. We had an amazing year. I love our team. We were up 30% in points. We were up 30% in cash flow. We paid $3 million out to our team for the first time ever.
Woo!
But our recruiting was flat. What's up with that?
My bad.
And so I started thinking about, my first surge that I ever had. And I got recruited in '99. I crossed my 20-year anniversary yesterday.
Woo!
Unbelievable ride, but I was recruited. I was taught to be a financial advisor. I got good at taking care of the client. Recruiting and building was a little weird to me. And in 2003, I got some instruction that the blinders were lifted off. I got excited. I came back. I huddled my huge base shop of about 8 people. And I said, listen, my attitude's changed, and it went from having to recruit to wanting to recruit. And we were challenged to go get 10 recruits a month in our base shop, double-digit recruiting. I was told that was the path. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, I noticed in the awards, because I'm refocused on this, last night we had 6 base shops in the whole Wealth Wave group that did it last year. 6. That's criminal with the kind of opportunity we have. And so I'm back on it, and so I got my guys together. I transferred my energy and enthusiasm to them. They wanted to versus have to. They started transferring that enthusiasm to their prospects, and then 6 months later, we had 67 recruits in a 2-month period, and from there I went from making $80,000 a year to $250,000 a year. We hit EMD, and it was an absolute explosion. And so I was reminded of this. I was speaking to an EMD team in Orlando in November, and this kind of got the dust off my head about, man, this is what I got to get focused on again. BDR, double-digit recruiting, 10 recruits a month in the base shop. And he said, well, how long? The leader asked him, how long have you done that? How long did you do it at that time? I said, I don't know, a couple of years, maybe 18 months. But I look back, and we did it for, this clicker's a little unclicky. We did it for 5 years, from 2003 to 2007. That's what we focused on. We did about 120 recruits or more per year for that period of time. And then what came from that, right? You can see this chart, that little red dotted line right there represents our recruits, and that shaded area was the time that we focused on it. And then the yellow is the points that we've accumulated as a team, crossing over 3.5 million this year. All came back from that period of time. Guys, the reason this is exciting is 80% of small businesses fail in the first couple of years, correct? They don't know the path. They search their entire lives for the path. Guys, this is a path. This is the path. All your dreams can come true from doing this, and I know maybe not everyone's ready to do it, but do you all agree we can level up our recruiting game? Yeah. Right? Absolutely. Because what came out of this We went from EMD to CEO to EBC. We promoted multiple SMDs. We experienced financial relief, which I wish for everybody. We released a ton of debt. We created a multiple six-figure recurring income. I can't tell you how awesome it feels to wake up on January 1st and you have so much recurring income and it's greater than your bills and you don't have to worry about money anymore. And so my long game is I want that for 1,000 or more of my agents to have that peace and feeling when they wake up on January 1st. It's unbelievable. We've helped thousands of families. We've changed the lives of many teammates. I'm a hero to my kids. I can't tell you how that feels, right? To watch their dad overcome challenges and struggles and win at a very high level in one of the largest companies and one of the largest industries on the planet. And by doing that, it gives them permission to do it. And we got goals. We haven't arrived. We got places we want to go to. But they are winning in so many areas of their life. It's such an unbelievable feeling. My wife thinks I'm hotter. Pretty good picture of her anyway. My wife thinks I'm hotter. So, are those all good benefits?
Yeah.
They're all good reasons, are they not?
Yeah.
So every time I go for something, I want to make sure I got enough good reasons to bust me through my comfort zones to make some things happen. And so, when you get clear on what you want, the world responds with absolute clarity. So, the clarity is double-digit recruiting in your base shop. Time to level up to that. And so, the reasons are good, correct? Yes. This means yes. This means no, right? You can take energy here, guys. It's be phenomenal. So, what's the challenge? Do we got great leadership?
Yes.
We got a great system?
Yes.
We got a great company. We got the largest market on the planet. So why don't we? Why don't we? Why is only 6 base shops did that last year? Mine wasn't one of them, by the way, so I'm attending my own lecture here. Who's ever heard of limiting beliefs? Who's got them? All your hands better go up. Because y'all got them. That's the reason, guys. Limiting beliefs. The limits, the self-imposed limits that we put on ourselves about how big our team can be, how much money we can make, how much happiness can we have, how much fulfillment, self-imposed limits. That's what they are. And so what I'm going to end the talk with is the plan that we are all going to commit to take Wealthway where it belongs, which is the very top of this deal. The very top of this company.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about that. But before that, I'm going to teach you how you can release your limiting beliefs. Would you like to know that?
Yeah.
And if you can't release them, how can you work in such a way that they don't limit you anymore? They don't stop you, and you can take action and have confidence and live the life that you want. You want to know more about that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Guys, getting better. So, hot environment. Hot. You want to say it hot? Okay, good. Hot. So, this sums it up right here. A false belief that a person acquires as a result of making an incorrect conclusion. A false belief as a result of an incorrect conclusion about something in their life. For example, a person can acquire a limiting belief about his or her ability to succeed as soon as they fail. That definition tells it all. And so basically, something happens in our life, we attach a meaning to it. Okay? Right or wrong. We attach a meaning to it. And then we repetitively tell that story in our heads until it becomes ingrained. And then when that happens, we have a tremendous need as humans to be right. So we will collect evidence in our environment to support the limiting belief and harden it even further. Okay? And so where they come from, we pick them up over the course of our lives, but a lot of it happens from about the ages 0 to 4. Our brains are not fully formed. And so we're sponges. We take everything in. So we basically have no ability to reject anything that's told us. We are in acceptance mode. And so parents, siblings, teachers, whatever, they have no limiting beliefs. They project those limiting beliefs onto us. We take them on, and then we never question the validity most often during the course of our entire lives. It's actually very sad. Because it happened to my family for literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. I was the first guy question it. Right? Because in my growing up, what it sounded like in my house from my family, which had been passed on for hundreds of years, was you're going to have to work hard. Life's going to be hard. Success is really not for the Feltons. Financial independence will never happen. I love my parents. They did the best they could with what they have. It's all been forgiven. I'm grateful for them. I'm glad they're my parents. But you're basically some form of life's a bitch and then you die. And that's pretty much it. Right then and there. And so guess what? Welcome to the club. I wasn't blessed with world-class programming. You probably weren't either. What I love about what Siebel does is he spent, the last several decades interviewing 1,300 plus multimillionaires, and guess what? They weren't blessed with it either. But there just came a time when they're like, man, is this real? Is this true? Is this fact? And that's what I did. About 10 years ago, I'm like, is this real? Is this true? Is this factual? And I just pulled out one by one by one by one by one. I just realized, no, it's not real. It's a lie. It's a total lie that I bought into for way too long, and it's time to end this. I am done with this.
Yeah.
I went through the process of reprogramming and upgrading, much like you do with your phones every couple of years, right? What Steve Miller said, man, you got to quit repeating 5th grade on some things. You got to upgrade your stuff, upgrade your stories, okay? Because, I was coaching somebody last week, man, I'm just pouring into them and stretching their vision, doing what I can, but I could literally see in their eyes how what I was telling them was being filtered and limited through this limiting belief and this lie that they've been living for so long. Time to drop all that garbage. Are you done with it? Yeah. I'm done with it. If you accept the limiting belief, it becomes the truth for you. But it's absolutely a lie. So, what is your pet limiting belief? I guess George isn't going to play. Is that what's going on there? I guess I need to act him out. Anyway, hey George, I'm going to love you and hug you and squeeze you. I guess it's better that the video's not playing. But I'm going to, right? And you're my little bunny rabbit, and that's kind of how that whole thing went down right there, right? You've all seen it. But basically, that's his pet. And for a lot of people, we all have a pet limiting belief. What is your pet limiting belief? You might have a bunch, but there's a main one that you have. And I'm so happy that Siebold spoke this morning and actually showed the interview of me talking about approval addiction, because that was mine. Steve started talking about it, but I got introduced to it in 2008. I was going headlong, investing in a lot of personal growth and development, trying to get this thing figured out. I was sick of struggling, and I was in a 10-day personal development seminar with 100 people. It was very intense. We did a 48-hour stayed up for 2 days construction project as a group. We finished it. We got a nap, and we were all lined up. I'll never forget. We were all lined up to do kind of a debrief about what we learned. And I'll never forget, the world-class facilitator named Tim O'Kelly came up on my right shoulder and was about ready to change my life, and I didn't know it. He said, "What did you learn?" I'm like, I have a tremendous need for the approval of other people. It's tremendous. I never got my dad's approval. It's a bottomless pit. I have been spending my whole life trying to get everyone to approve of me, to often fed, never satisfied, this bottomless pit of approval. He's like, how's it served you? I'm like, I've overachieved in everything. Sports, work, my career, everything. I work all the time, but it's just so I can get adulation. And he said, okay, what's the price that you pay for that? And that one didn't quite click for me, but the next question rocked my world. And it was, what's the price that others pay? And I was like, holy crap. I mean, it was unbelievable. I said, oh my God, man, I just made so many bad financial decisions. So drive a car, have an office, look a certain way, right? It's putting us in financial stress. The first domino was my wife, Marlo, and our financial stress in that situation. Another domino was my ex-wife and how that led to our divorce. And then my next domino was my kids that lived on the other side of the country. I didn't have the money to go see them. The next domino was my teammate. The next domino was my friends, my family, my clients, all this stuff. I couldn't tell people the way they needed to hear it because I was so afraid of not having their approval. It was a domino effect. It was so strong on me. He said, is it a big enough price for you, Chris Felton? I was like, man, it's too heavy. It's too heavy. And so we often don't change until we connect the prices that others pay for the lie that we tell ourselves. And I never really got rid of that. Like Steve said, on a scale of 1 to 7, I don't know, I'm probably a 4. But the blessing that he gave me that day was he shined a light on a behavior that was costing my family dearly. And that awareness has changed my life forever. My income went up 5 times from that point. So sit with that a little bit and ask yourself, what's the price that other people pay? And then he coupled it with this, where you have a limiting belief, and if it's with you for a long time, even decades, like in my case, to get rid of it, it's almost like getting rid of a body part, right? So like your whole life, like you have an arm, right, for the most part. And so to get rid of that limiting belief, you feel like you have to maybe chop off an arm. It seems way too heavy, does it not? And so he said, don't look at it as a limiting belief, Chris. Look at it as a lie that you tell yourself. It's a lie that you tell yourself. Because think about people that lie to you. Eventually what happens? You don't believe them anymore. What they say, there's no credibility. You don't trust anything that they say to you. And when they lie, you just don't take it in. Well, that's what happens with this. And so when I started looking at the limiting beliefs as these are lies that I tell myself, they started viewing a little bit differently. And so when I get hung up, I still get hung up. When I get stuck, what happens is, I know I need therapy, but I journal a little bit, right? And so, and the stuff I'm going to share with you guys today, it doesn't take a lot of time to shift. That's a limiting belief. Okay? It doesn't take a lot of time, it doesn't take a lot of work. It takes awareness. And so when I'm hung up on something, I know because I don't feel good. If I don't feel good internally, emotionally, it means I'm paying attention to a lie. So I pull out the journal, I write down the situation, I write down what I'm thinking about it, and then what I do is I say, my thoughts about this aren't real. I write that down. My thoughts about this aren't real. What I'm making up about this is not true. I shut the journal, I say it again to myself, I leave it behind, and I move forward. And then what happens is, within a day or two or a week, when I get back to my journal and that situation has totally resolved itself, I look at what I was thinking, and guess what it was? It wasn't real. It's a lie. So what have I been doing for years? Proving this out. That my thoughts about things often don't make any sense. And so, once again, I still got work to do here, guys. I haven't arrived, but I don't believe a lot of my limiting beliefs anymore. And that's what I want you guys to have. Is you don't have to believe your limiting beliefs anymore. And so I get hung up, but the amount of time that I waste being consumed by it has dropped like a rock. And that's what I want. Because that's what you need. Guys, what I'm saying is, to build this business, you need energy. You need energy. And if you're carrying this stuff around, it's tough to have that energy. And if you've ever felt like that, okay, it's because you're entertaining your thoughts. So how do you find these things, all right? So, this gift was given to me by a leader in like 2001. He says, when I roll into a new year, I don't just start setting goals and planning. He's like, this is actually the first step. I sit down with a pad of paper and I ask myself, what's holding me back? Because I have to become self-aware of how I stop myself, how I sabotage myself. Because it still happens. Okay? And so about a month after I heard that, I had eight appointments one day. And I was struggling. I needed them all to stick. I had to close business to pay my mortgage. I mean, I was struggling pretty bad. And all 8 canceled. They didn't reschedule, they canceled. I mean, they disappeared in our witness protection program. I never saw these people again. And often I would just go to the bar and deal with it that way with a couple cocktails. But you know what? I said, must be happening for a reason. I went to the coffee shop, I grabbed a pad of paper, I sat there, I wrote that question at the very top, what's holding me back? I was there for 4 hours. And it felt great. Because the first time in my life, I was totally honest with myself. I didn't beat myself up. I didn't look at it and go, man, you're screwed up. Right? Because I started learning a long time ago, guys, we are both a miracle and a mess at the same time. And once you accept that, your life starts working. If you're trying to get perfect, that's a limiting belief. That's how you stop yourself. So it's really powerful. And so I still have a lot of stuff on my list. That's okay. I'd grab one or two things, work on it for a month, come back, grab one or two things, work on it for a couple months. I'd change 8 or 10, 12 habits over a course of a year. That's real growth, not trying to attack the whole list. And so I've been telling my guys to do this for years, and I don't know how often they do, but one such agent got bold this year. She's phenomenal. I love her. She's very talented. She's very skilled. Everybody loves her. She should be way more successful than she is. She didn't have a great 18 in accordance to what she wanted, so she shared this with me. She shared her list. She sat down, right? And so she's like, so this is stuff she was making up. I was thinking it was too much work, and I didn't really want to do it. I was thinking I was tired of babysitting adults. Right? It's nearly impossible to find anyone that's already successful to join business with me, and if I did find them, they wouldn't stay once they saw the amount of work required to win here. The only people I have access to are either broke, sick, or dysfunctional. Guys, that's the stuff that was rolling around in her head. That's why she wasn't recruiting last year. So what happened by doing that, by shining light on it, figuring out that she's lying to herself, she's got awareness on it. You don't need to solve all that. You just set it aside. Now her energy is great. She's moving. She's going to do double-digit recruiting in February. She's on fire. But she had to basically understand how she was getting in her own way. So the analogy I give is I ran a couple marathons way back in the day. If you've done triathlons, you've done any of that stuff, it's a lot of work, right? You're training for several months. Can you imagine all the time getting into shape, doing all those things, and you're ready to go, you walk up to the start line, and 30 seconds before the start gun goes off, somebody comes and puts a 30-pound bowling ball around your ankle. How would that feel? Not good, right? But that's what these limiting beliefs do, guys. There just comes a time when working harder and carrying that bowling ball, you just can't work harder. You got to begin to release. You got to begin to let it go. This is powerful, guys. This is the key for us unlocking and hitting 100 million this year, by the way. Is us going to work on this stuff as a group, which is knowing thyself. You got to know thyself. You got to be totally self-aware, okay? So guess what? My name is Chris Felton. I'm a recovering approval addict. And so, by the way, you can kick ass and still have all this garbage because you're a miracle and a mess at the same time. You can be very successful. So I just brought on a brand new rock star real estate gal on Monday, and so I've been building a relationship with her, and she's on my prospect list. We went to lunch 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, all right, now's the time. Now's the time to pull the trigger. And so before I went in there, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do once my little boy starts talking me out of it? What's my action step going to be? So I just got really clear. I said, I'm just going to push it aside, and my intention is to get her invited to our next executive lunch. That's what I'm going to do. That's my intent. That's the intention. So I go in there, we're having a talk. I'm like, hey, how you doing? How's real estate? How's 2019? She's like, oh my God, real estate's been going. I'm having my best year ever. She's all glowing. All of a sudden, my little voice goes, can't you see? She's passionate about real estate. That's what my bitchy little voice sounds like, right? You think you're weird. Just coming into a lot of money. You don't want to screw up the sale. She might not be your client. You might lose the sale if you try to recruit her. You're pretty busy, Chris. You got to get ready for this talk in Vegas, right? Anyway, all this stuff's running. And I know that's my ego. Ego stands for edging God out. Alright? So I just kind of smiled at it, and I'm like, not today. Made the invitation, came to lunch, loves it. She's 11 out of 10 on her feedback form. Hired her, got her next 2 recruits. I almost stopped myself. So, you can work with them. I'll probably never get rid of that thing. But that's okay. I can work with it. I can set it aside and still go live an amazing life. It's not about getting perfect. It's not about fixing yourself. So, know thyself. So, recruiting lies. You can probably take up 4 hours. These are the lies. You ready? Yes. Quality versus quantity. You ever heard that one? So all of a sudden, you're some recruiting gods that can figure out if they're going to make it or not. Can't do it. Right? Recruit quality and get quantity. I need to take care of my clients. I don't have time. I don't have time. That's no one. I don't know enough yet. I don't know anyone. I don't have any time. I'm tired. I need to be successful first. I'm not a leader. I'm weird. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have. I'm not. Blah, 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 blah. Lies, 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 lies. Here's the problem. You have them. You recruit someone. then you spread your lies to them. Who's done it? Who's done it?
Yeah.
All right, if this guy can do it, you can do it. If this guy can do it, you can do it. Far left, I'm not sure what's going on with that photo. I've had a couple cocktails in me, but I obviously thought that prospecting a plant was a good idea. Far left, graduation rehearsal, day before graduation. I'm on the far left with my mullet, business in the front, party in the back. Okay? My mullet would be a skullet today, looking good. Right here, and I can get a skullet going on. And I don't know what's going on with Redneck Chris, but if you can do it, I can do it. You like my combination mustard ketchup stain going on there? All right. So, if that guy can do it, you can definitely do it. So, the other problem is, you think the perceived pain is greater than the perceived pleasure. Okay? I want you to understand this. The reason I shared all that good stuff that came from double-digit recruiting on the front end is I want you guys to understand that the dream is a real thing. People are walking around here. There's a lot of things I've done wrong in this business, but I've never questioned if it was going to be worth it. And most people spend so much time going, is it worth it? Is this for me? Who's done this garbage? Is it worth it? Is this for me? Will I? Won't I? Is it going to be worth it? So he spent all his time in brain negotiation. And I knew it was going to be worth it. All the big leaders knew that the pleasure was going to be better than the perceived pain. Guys, the pain is perceived. It's perception. It's a psychological battle. It's an illusion most often. Not you're going to have challenges. I get that. But the actual challenges that you face compared to what you make up in your mind, it's small. I started developing this habit in college. I find a successful person. I'm like, man, is it worth it? To a man. I've never had a successful person come in, oh, no, it wasn't worth it. All of them. Then I come to events like this. Listen to guys that are successful. Chris, it's worth it, it's worth it, it's worth it. So, it's worth it. It's worth all of it. It's worth all the time. It's worth it. That's what you need to understand. The dream is real and the perceived pain is an absolute lie. Can I get an amen? All right.
Amen.
All right, hot. All right. So we need to release these lies. So what I'm going to share with you guys is some things that I do around personal growth and development, because I get asked all the time, what do you do? And we got great technology in this world. We got great technology in WealthWave. We have great technology everywhere. But what most people are unaware of is the great technology that lies in the world of personal growth and personal development. That can literally put you light years ahead of where you are. Okay? And so people always ask, hey, what do you do? And then I come off the stage speaking around the country on this stuff, and I tell them what to do, and they kind of look at me like, well, Chris, you don't understand. I like make $100,000 a year. I mean, do I need to do that? Yeah, you especially do. Alright? Hey, you don't have to be sick to get better, okay? So, one of the top 3 things I've ever done in personal growth and personal development is something called Holocene. Go to centerpoint.com. I don't have time to get into it, but it's basically do-it-yourself meditation. It's unbelievable what you can do. And what this does is it starts positively rewiring your brain, which is what most people do, because most people operate from fight or flight, stress, ran by their amygdala, and they operate in that environment. And what happens when you operate that way, you cannot create anything new in your life. You just keep creating the same thing over and over and over again. And so when I started doing this, literally within 60 to 90 days, I found myself being way more peaceful, right? The monkey brain started quieting down. I was able to be way more in the present moment. And then it stopped me from going way into the future. I am a planner, but it stopped me from mentally and emotionally thinking about what I had to do next, and next, and next, and next, and next, which creates anxiety, which gets you off your focus. It's so powerful. I highly recommend you do it. And what it also allowed me to do, what gave me the capacity to handle way more things without getting stressed. My team will tell you, I'm a pretty peaceful guy. That was a number one thing that I did. Paraliminal.com. This is another thing that you can use. You go to the website, it says personal development for busy people. Anything you want to work on, whether you want to work on your relationship with money, stress, anxiety, having more confidence. Even there was a program I just did before I spoke here. It's going to make sure I deliver the message here today. Anything you want to do, you put the earbuds in 20 to 24 minutes, you are programmed, and you're beginning to make these changes at an unconscious level. Very powerful. Tapping. I'm a big believer in what's called emotional freedom technique. It's a little weird, but millions of people do it. And it gives you the ability to basically, within 7 minutes of using this technology, to leave behind what you're hung up on and get refocused. Because that's what this thing is all about. It's about creating focus. So benefits might include less procrastination, more confidence, reduced anxiety, increased focus, healthier body, more productive days, more fulfillment, a great life. Who's interested in that? All right. If you don't believe me, then Jack Canfield, Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols, and Mark Victor Hansen all use the technology. You might want to as well. But Chris, I make $100,000 a year. Okay, really good. Okay, remember that guy? He didn't used to do that. Don't turn into that guy. Get into this stuff. And then the way you also release it is doing what's called declarations. Affirmations are good. Declarations are very powerful. When you are stuck in the lie, shift and start declaring, right? I declare double-digit recruiting. I declare getting wide. I declare my next promotion. I declare becoming an SMD. Declare, 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 declare. The declarations move you towards what you want. Get on them. And then let's release the damn bowling ball, okay? Is that fair?
Yeah.
That's good?
Yeah.
Okay, as I'm wrapping up here. Big mistake number 1. Personal development with no action. It'll never work. You can't sit in your basement, meditate for 8 hours a day, watch the movie The Secret 21 times, and hope Oprah's going to call you to get on her couch and be interviewed. Won't happen. You set aside 30 to 45, maybe 60 minutes a day to do this stuff in the morning. You set it aside, you execute your 12-week plan, you move forward. Okay? Because what happens is action creates clarity, not the other way around. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. Big mistake number 2, it takes time. Some of the stuff you've been thinking for decades, you will not spin out in 21 days. But you will eventually spin out of it. You might have some relapses, right? You might fall back. It won't happen overnight, but please be kind to yourself. Very important in growth and development. Be kind to yourself. So, what are we going to do different? So, coming out of here, here's my mentality. I'm going on a run. I'm going to turn over every rock and every leaf. That's my mentality. Every rock and every leaf. I'm going to make a big list. I'm going to contact with my guys, get with your leader, contact. And then 10, 5, 1 and done. This is what's on my dry erase board in my office. This is what I'm going to be running along with the Lead Leader program. Okay? 1 and done. Which is basically you can get 1 recruit a month. Person. Who can do that?
I can do that.
All of you, right? 1 recruit a month person. We can all do that. That's 12 recruits a year. You do that for a significant period of time, and your life will change. Okay? I guarantee it. 1 and done. I stole this from James Schwartz, by the way. Thanks, James. Because I think it's beautiful. Because I get people's business plan. They have like 30 things they're aiming for. Like, what do I have to do? Just get 1 and done. Get more, but you can quit. And by the way, there's people in our company that had done a 1 and done in their career, and they were 1 and done. Right? There's a guy that said, hey, Kenny, what? You need me to Swan win. I was 1 and done. Last I heard, guy makes $800,000 a year. Follow me? You don't have to be some big, great, phenomenal leader. You just need to be a conduit to make this happen. Okay? But if you don't do some work on yourself, you can have high belief in what we do, low belief in you, and you miss this opportunity. You follow me? Opportunities passing by you all day, but you have these limiting bowling balls that keep you from getting in your own, just getting your own way. Okay? So, 0 is not a standard. God does not make zeros. You are not a 0. 1 and done. Who's in?
Yeah.
1 and done. 5 base shop recruits. If you're in this crowd and you did about 10 to 30 base shop recruits last year, we are recommending that you level up. Not recommending, we're asking you to level up to go get 60. I don't have time to develop it, but if you did 60 base shop recruits, you would have a phenomenal business, guys, with 5. So if you're not ready for 10, go get 5. Okay? Who can do that? Who can do that? All right. 10. We already got that one. All right? That's the pack. That's where you eventually need to get to, but if you're like me, we did about 70 last year. We're going to go to 120. I'm focused on this. This is my plan. I'm running this with my guys. I've carved out 4 or 5 guys. I'm focused on it. We had one of them hit last month. We are getting this done, guys. This is how we're going to put the industry on its ear. Because here's what it looks like. Who's in for that, by the way? Who's in for BDL? Okay, we need more. What's going to come out of this? More elite performers, more elite builders, more ring earners, more Hawaii qualifiers. We need way more of those. More SMD promotions, EMD promotions, CEO promotions, families help. And it's got to level up from a should to a must. I should recruit, I should work out, I should eat better. Shoulds don't happen. Shoulds only happen when things are convenient. Must happen. That's what happened when we in Denver rolled out a Elite Leader program. Hey, you got to do 12 units over a quarter to hit Elite Leader, Lead Performer. And some of these guys, it was a stretch, but we're 3 years into it, they leveled up their expectation. They leveled up their standard. Now we got a bunch of guys doing it in a month. Because the should turned into a must, okay? Want to recruit, must recruit. Okay? And here's what it means for WealthWave. There are 1,500 attendees here. Okay? If y'all do one and done, this is exciting. This should get you excited. Who wants to go top this company?
Yeah!
We should be number 1. There's no question in my mind. 1,500 attendees. That would be 18,000 new recruits. Okay, Tom's team averages 5,500 points per recruit. 99 million points. We get it done. Last thing, and I'll be done. What we want from you guys is we want peace. We want you to have peace in your life. The first place that happens is financially. And I had a leader a long time ago say, Chris, you'll never know how good you can be until money's behind you. I bought into that peace. And I'll never forget one night, Marlo and I were coming out of our mess, and we got about an extra $15,000, $20,000 in a check. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and I raised up in my bed, and it was like, boom. For decades, that was, how am I going to pay my bills? Where's it going to come from? Where's it going to happen? It was the first time in my life where I had indescribable peace that came over my body. And it was one of the best feelings on the planet. I knew we were never going back to that place again. And that's what I want for you guys. I want you to have peace in your life, and it happens with money. You can do it. Let's go make it happen. Appreciate it.